So from allowing societal expectations and the pressures to get to you, you are accepting to lower your level of consciousness because you are disconnecting from who you are. Hey mama, welcome to Naturally Empowered Living, your safe space to guiding you on your unapologetic self-awakening journey to learning your energy of alignment and feeling good again. This is your weekly sanctuary to wake up from autopilot and transform the way you approach motherhood and life through the power of meditation, energetics, and root cause therapy. It's my mission to help you embody the foundations of self-love, trust, and inner connection to be unapologetic in the evolution of who you are. Here, we honor all parts of ourselves, the messy and the magic, the shadows and the light. If you are ready to get to the roots of cultivating real change, warm up that cold coffee, pop in your earbuds, and tighten that top knot, mama. Let's discover our power within together. What is up, beautiful mamas? Welcome back to another episode of the Naturally Empowered Living podcast. This is your host, Jenna Smith, and I am coming to you in so much love, with so much gratitude, just giving you a big hug. I hope that you're doing well whenever you are listening to this, wherever you are listening to this. Let's jump in. I am kind of in a no bullshit mood. I sat down to write the outline or like just little bullet points for this episode, and I'm like, I'm not even feeling this. Like, I just want to press record, and here we go. So I said a little prayer before I press record, just to make, please make my message clear and direct, since I'm, not normal. You know me and my tangents. So I just pray that this episode is well received, as every episode on the show. And today I want to discuss societal pressures and expectations that weigh on us. And I am speaking to moms, but if you listen to the show and you're not a mom, that is A-okay. This message can still be very well received. But this is my opinion. I feel that a motherly figure, maybe more so than a male or fatherly figure in our children's lives. The moms, we're the nurturers, right? Like we are like the intuitive nurturers. We harness masculinity, but we also hold so much feminine power. And I feel that balances out with the masculine, of a potential partner or whatever. So I just feel that as a mom, we tend to worry more. We tend to care more. We do more because we worry more. And we're the contact name on a school form the majority of the time. We are the ones making the doctor's appointments, and we are the one making the plans and the schedules. And I just feel that is well received. And if you are not in that position, amazing. I still feel that this episode will be beneficial because, let's face it, we all have some sort of societal pressure or expectation that we feel that we are not living up to, or that we almost try to force things within our lives because we're trying to meet some sort of said expectation or should or need that might or might not feel aligned to us. But this is where I'm coming to draw this line in the sand, right? And this was not supposed to be a sexist thing, who does more in the family type thing. No, if we have a partner, they do their own skills and their own mastery, and hopefully it just complements all that you do too. So let's harness our innate strengths and moving forward. So this episode came to me because, we're nearing the end of October. The holidays are coming. The Pinterest boards of holiday trends and this and that, the Pinterest mamas be booming, right? I love following the crafts and the meals and all the cutesy stuff. I'm not that person, but I love seeing it. And I used to feel a lot of guilt with that, or a lot of just pressure to do XYZ. And I do try. It just doesn't look good. I'm not artsy. I'm not artistic or crafty, but we make our own fun with it because I've released the expectation. I released the guilt behind it not looking, picture perfect or whatever. So the reason I share that is because this time of year, a lot of societal expectations, pressures, they might be sneaking in. Maybe, it doesn't have to be this time of year. It could be any time of year within extracurricular activities that you maybe are not in, or maybe that you are in. But if you're not in them and you feel that your child will be behind, or if you're in so many that you just never have a night with nothing to do and you're burnt out. And if you're burnt out, I'm sure your kids are burnt out, and you never have a connection time, right? Or maybe it's as simple as you feel that you always have to be on or in a good mood. Like insert the gentle parenting, polls or the homeschooling polls or seeing the mom at drop off that's always put together and ready at 7 a.m. and you're like in your messy bun, still in your PJ. Like that's me, still in my PJs at the bus stop. Like it is what it is, right? However, these expectations can lead to feelings of guilt and lower self-worth and higher stress levels. They could put strain on your family, your work, your life balance because you're putting the strain on yourself. And then it could decrease your drive and motivation over time because we succumb to these pressures and expectations that we place on ourselves and we make an identity around that. And Dr. Hawkins, he has his scale of consciousness, like expectations and jealousy and comparison, they all reside in the desire state of consciousness. So let's bring this back to ourselves. Because if you've heard this before, or you believe this, or you don't believe this, we are all mirrors. We are all mirrors back onto ourselves. And everything comes back to that. So if you're being jealous of someone or something, or you're comparing yourself to someone or something, can you agree that jealousy, that comparison, that, you're not living up to XYZ, is there a desire somewhere within yourself to do something or to be someone? Like, do you really want that? Like, have that question. Ask yourself, is this actually a desire that I have? Or is it, something else deep-rooted that you just feel like you're not doing enough, or the guilt comes in or the shame comes in because you're not doing enough? So take, however you're feeling, you like those lower vibration emotions, the jealousy, the comparison, the envy, right? The desire. Focus on that trigger, but then take the person or the situation completely out of the equation and connect back to you. Because it comes back to, mirror it back to you. What do you need? This is not a selfish way of thinking, of doing, of being, because in my opinion, it's going to take out like the jealousy and the comparison. Like it's going to, kind of release that energy within you because you're doing that work to get to the root of why you're feeling like nasty or negative about something, right? And if you think about it, if we all embraced our authenticity and stood in our highest truth, like living in our soul's essence, our highest selves, following God's will, the world would be filled with peace and love and gratitude and all those highest vibrations. I used to think that was a load of shit. But the more that I learn and the more that I research, I know that we have ups and downs. I know that we're going to fall back on the, the scale of consciousness, going back to Dr. Hawkins' scale. We're going to feel the guilt, the shame, we're going to feel the jealousy, the comparison. But when we acknowledge and we're aware of it, we can bring it back. We can mirror it back to ourselves and realize, why? What do I need? So the more that I learn and the more that I research, life's plan as a collective is pretty simple. If we zoom out so far and look down on our lives, yes, we're going to have the daily stress. Yes, we're going to have, the hard days. We're going to have the overwhelm. We're going to have tough seasons. We're going to be in the shit. But overall, when you zoom out so far, when we step into who we are and be fearlessly ourselves, the entire collective will benefit because we are living our purpose. We are living our mission. We are living our dharma. We are living the soul contract. Insert whatever you believe in here, but it's all the same. And that's something, because I never want to discredit or compare religion or spirituality. Like I wholeheartedly respect whatever you believe in. But it's almost like I'm just kind of nudging you a little bit to open up your mind a little bit to the parallels and the common core messages of a lot of religion and a lot of different beliefs. Like the cores are very similar. But here I go, getting off on a tangent. So again, we get so mudded up, in the negativities of life and the hardships and the expectations, being the big one that we're talking about in this episode today. So I want to share just some thoughts, some insights on how to break free from these influences of societal pressures or expectations, because they weigh on us. We're always seeing, oh, she's doing this better, or, they're always a part of, this or this, and whatever it is. I mean, motherhood related or not, like just within life, within where you live, what you drive, what you wear, right? You could insert anything here, the societal pressures and expectations, how to break free from that and embrace your authenticity, who you are. Because as we release and shift away from those vibrations of the jealousy, of the envy, of the comparison, of the guilt, of the shame, when we release that and shift away from those, we step into who we want to be. We start to unblock ourselves. We free energy to take on those higher frequencies and bridge that gap to our soul-aligned selves. It takes a shit ton of work. I feel like this is this show. Like, this is our life's work, our soul's work. It takes work to shift and release, and let it be releasing emotions or releasing stuck energy, the releasing these frequencies that we no longer want within our lives. And many of these energies, emotions, feelings, traumas, triggers, they've been with us for years and years, a very long time. And they might not want to let go. They're not going to want to let go so easily. I'm not saying that shifts can't happen quickly, but they can also take time. And it can also take continual awareness. Like, what do I always say? Awareness and intention. It's like step one. That's the foundations. Awareness on our part to ensure that the changes that we want to see then become permanent. Bring in now the science piece. I was just talking kind of woo-woo energetics frequency. Bring in the science of neuroplasticity. You will begin to start rewiring your brain to create new neural pathways. It's the same concept. So shifting our vibration can occur with a single change in perception, a new understanding, a new way to think about something. And our energy can then work like a light switch, right? Same with those neural pathways. But finding that light switch, that can be the challenging part. So shifting patterns in our emotions, or releasing long-held beliefs or energies, or, any of those things, it requires finding the root cause of what we're trying to change. It requires the awareness first, and then also the willingness and belief and a deep understanding and a willingness to want to change. So going into these shadows of ourselves, it can be frightening. Like, heck yes, it is. Like, darn right, it's frightening. It's scary because, you ever hear, here I am with, again, another cliche quote, but like, it's going to get harder before it gets easier. Or like when it hurts before it gets better. It's the same thing here, because you're going to start to have like all of this stuff coming to surface, and you're going to feel like, oh my gosh, no, I'm like getting worse. No, you're releasing. So when you give yourself a safe container, or seek that within a mentor or a therapist or a counselor or a loved one, you can go into these places that you usually, or that you're used to hiding or shoving under the rug, to find that switch, that light switch. And it will help start to harness that change. There's an opportunity to see ourselves in a completely, like a whole view, right? Like, again, zooming out and looking down at your life. And that includes, how we perceive others, or like the external pressures, or, bringing in that societal comparison and stuff. Like, if you want to if it's hard for you to think about yourself, think about your kids. Put your kids in this situation. Bring up peer pressure, right? Wouldn't you want them to speak their truth, to say no when they know what the right thing is? And what they're asked to do right now is not the right thing? Like, wouldn't you, with all of your heart, anything that you can do, wouldn't you want to give them that confidence to do the right thing, even if no one else is doing it? That just hits so hard, right? So let's dive into some meat here. Like, how can we do this, Jenna? Let's see. How do I want to start this? First, let's say, with the attention and the awareness, I always say that, like, that's the foundations here. Let's pay attention to triggers. Why are you feeling a need to fit in, to stand out, to not stand out? Like, what is it that you feel this, this pressure or this expectation to be met? Is it realistic within your life? Is it a desire, or is it not a desire and you just want to fit in? Okay? So really get honest with yourself. And then, do you know your purpose? Do you know what I don't want to say like what you're here to do in this life, because it typically, like, this is a lifelong journey, right? Like it takes sometimes years to find our purpose, and then even more years to actually live it out. But think, like, what do you want? What do you want for yourself, for your family? I mean, that's a big part of it too, right? And because like finding your purpose, there's so much depth there. We're going to talk about this in a couple minutes. So I'm going to finish this thought, and then so put that bucket to the side. We'll come back to it. So paying attention to triggers, finding your purpose, and being unapologetic in who you are. I mean, this will bring out parts of you that you have pushed down so deep, that you've shoved under the rug to fit in through conditioning, through whatever. I mean, years of living, right? We shove pieces of ourselves under the rug because we feel like maybe we weren't safe in this situation, or we didn't feel like that we could be this type of person in this situation. Again, this is like life work stuff. And in doing that, it might also bring up fears of, some people might not be happy with you being you because, wait, you're changing. You're whatever. People might become uncomfortable or lash out at you. But think, what is important here? If these people cared about who you are, have a conversation with them about it, right? And since we're entering Scorpio season, the season of the depths, this is just so perfect. So this is, okay, now we're going to follow along into finding purpose, because Scorpio season, it's so magical. It brings us the opportunity to face our deepest shadows, to accept them. Well, to welcome them, then to accept them and grow with them instead of away from them. So now let's jump into some questions that you could sit with. Let it be through meditation, or if you want to journal them, but how you can break free from societal influences, from these pressures, to step into your purpose. Because the expectations, the external expectations, the societal pressures, they are blocking you from being who you are, who you truly are, because you are giving an external force or factor your power. So with this, I want you to take what resonates, as with any episode, anything I say, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But here's just some journal prompts or some just questions that you can sit with and think about or meditate with or pray on. What would your 8-year-old self be doing right now? Think back to when you were a kid. What would you be doing? Connecting with your inner child, let's say, or just like think of the bliss of being a child. Even if you didn't have a childhood that you like to remember, like just think of seeing children, like the carefreeness of a child, right? So think back to that. Something else that helps in identifying your purpose is you have energy and enthusiasm and just like excitement, maybe butterflies in your stomach, like when you're doing certain things. So what are those activities or hobbies or things that give you that energy and that excite you? Like what keeps you so engulfed that you lose track of time? Something else to ask yourself is, what do you do when no one is watching? Or what would you do if you didn't have to explain it to anyone, to your spouse or family or friends or parents, loved ones? And oftentimes, finding our purpose, it requires letting go of who we think we should be. So what past visions of yourself or where you thought your life was going to be, what can you let go of? What visions belonging to other people should no longer affect you, and what can you let go of? What can you break ties with? Cut the cord with. And after you take some time to sit with these questions or meditate with them, allow yourself to lean into your truth and connect with yourself. Like give yourself some time with this to just be. And then you could ask yourself, am I doing these things presently? Are any external forces blocking me from pursuing any of this? Because what you just answered in those above questions, those things help raise your consciousness. Those things help you bridge the gap to your highest self. Those things help you step back into your energy of alignment. I'm going to say this again, like we are each here on a mission. Our soul, our spirit, we want to accomplish something within this lifetime. Your blueprint. So each of us has a purpose, and it will keep calling at us until we pay attention to it. And again, it might take years to find this purpose, and then even longer to follow it. But by living your soul's mission, you are helping the collective as a whole, because when we all connect to our purpose here, everyone benefits. So from allowing societal expectations and the pressures to get to you, you are accepting to lower your level of consciousness because you are disconnecting from who you are. When we try to fit in or do something because everyone else is doing it, it's like telling yourself, oh, you should be doing this too. You're not helping anyone because you're stepping further and further away from who you are in this lifetime. This isn't a selfish act. It took me a long time to grasp this concept. And like, I'm still in the thick of it sometimes with like seeing, old friends or like being in a situation that I used to be in like years and years ago. Like it brings up like the habitual patterns. You might have to break habitual patterns. But once you grasp this concept of living fearlessly and authentically and unapologetically who you are, the collective humanity will benefit. Maybe not in those acute moments, right? Of making someone upset for saying no or, whatever, like in those moments, right? Of speaking your truth. But I promise you, overall, you will begin to feel more confident. People will respect you. And maybe the people that don't respect you or do give you that backlash, okay, thank you for teaching me, or thank you, have you heard that before? Everyone that comes into your life are either for a teaching moment or a learning moment type thing. Like you're the teacher or they're the teacher for you. Like there's always a lesson. There's always a reason why you cross paths with people. So allow that to be just that. And it's okay to follow what it is that you want, that you need, doing what is best for you and your family. And if you're woo-woo, like me, try seeing your life's mission as an opportunity to evolve and accomplish something that your soul may have been trying to fulfill for lifetimes. Like thinking of it like that, like, damn, I'm here in this lifetime. I've been given this moment. Let's fucking do this. Like, let's figure this out. Let's fall in love with our mission again and again by recognizing that it's the reason that you're here in this lifetime. You and only you can pursue your life's journey. What are you meant to be and to do here? It's like this special journey, voyage, right? Like designed for you. Like be grateful for your path and how you found it and where you are and what you've been through. Give yourself credit, give yourself praise, hug yourself. Be grateful for the people that have helped you, supported you, that have maybe come in and out of your life. Be grateful for being you. And if this episode or show resonates with you, I would be so appreciative for you to share it. Share it with a loved one. Share it with, if there's ever an episode that makes you think of someone, share it with them. I would be so appreciative of that. And also, you could share your thoughts about this episode or this show by leaving a written review. I would just thank you so much for that also. Until next week, as always, simply be you. You have everything inside of you to learn your energy of alignment and be unapologetic in who you are. I'm sending my love and light.
Did you find this episode relatable or empowering? Peace with my love of you.
Thank you for spending this sacred time with me on Naturally Empowered Living. I pray this episode has brought you a step closer to tuning into your energy of alignment. And if it has, please consider leaving a written review sharing how this show has impacted you. Your feedback truly lights me up and helps other moms find their way to this community. And if it feels right, please share this episode with another mom who might be struggling to remind her that she's never alone. Be sure to check the show notes for more ways to connect and explore how we could work together to reclaim your power and deepen your relationship within. Thank you. I appreciate all you are and all you do.